Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Ray, and today I am going to be doing the pregnancy update video, as you guys read from the title. So I am currently 25 weeks and 4 days pregnant. I actually just came back from one of my checkup appointments a few hours ago, and I was supposed to be taking my glucose test. And so, anyways, actually, okay, so I'm gonna rewind. In this video, I'm pretty much going to be telling y'all, since this is my first pregnancy update video and I am already 25 weeks, I'm just going to pretty much tell y'all everything that happened from the day that I found out up until now. I'm hoping that this video won't be too long, but yeah. So, going all the way back to June, I found out I was pregnant June 25th, and I had taken 3 pregnancy tests. I literally did not believe the first one at all. Sorry if I keep like looking around. I have the camera set up in the window, so I'm like looking outside, I guess, as like a distraction. I don't know. Anyways, I had taken 3 pregnancy tests. The first one I really did not want to believe. Like, I don't know what it was, but that first test when I took it, I really could have sworn up and down like the test was faulty. I had originally, well, what made me take the test in the beginning, I'm gonna let y'all know right now, this video is gonna be TMI 9 times out of 10 if you're watching this video. You know a little bit about pregnancy. Either you got somebody that you know who's been pregnant, or you've had a child of your own, or whatever the case may be. This is going to be like my little story of everything as far as being pregnant, but there is going to be some TMI information in here, so I'm gonna put that out there right now. So anyways, what made me think that I was pregnant, I have this app on my phone called Flow. If you don't have the app and you're a girl, it is probably one of the best things that I could have done, or one of the best apps that I could have used as far as keeping track of my period and everything. And so that app pretty much calculated the day that my periods would come every single month. It always told me in advance, and it never really missed. I had been coming on my period either on the 21st or the 22nd of every single month this year, and of I think like the end of last year. It might have switched up, I believe, sometime in like October or November of last year, and then anywhere from there up until June, May I had consistent pregnancy. Consistent period dates. And so the day of June 25th, I hadn't had a period, and my app had actually said that I had been late for 5 days. And so the funny thing about that is, the night before I actually ended up taking a pregnancy test, I had went to, me and my boyfriend went grocery shopping, and, me and my boyfriend went grocery shopping. I had been telling him, like, I'm like late, and I'm usually on time on my periods. Like, I've never really had like a real like late period. If I had, then it was literally late by like a day. So like I said before, it either came on the 21st or the 22nd. So if it never came on the 21st, I would always come on the 22nd. I never too much came early, never late or any of that. And so it was actually kind of like starting to worry me a little bit. I was kind of starting to get scared. So I had been talking to him like, babe, I think I might need to buy a test or whatever. And he was kind of just like, like, why you feel like you need to take one? And I'm like, something is up. So usually every month, right around the time that my period comes, my boobs tend to get really sore, and which that did happen in this case. But they have seemed to be a little more tender than usual, in which that was something that I really wasn't used to. They had seemed like a lot more swollen, and I don't know, it was just like really weird, and I have been keeping an eye on that. And on top of the fact that was only like really my only symptom, and me being 5 days late, because I don't really get like cramps before I come on my period. I usually get them when I come on my period at that time, not days before, not a day before, or any of that. So that was like my only thing that kind of was like, okay, something is up. They like seemed, my boobs seemed swollen. They really hurt to touch them. They were a lot tender and everything. I mean, they were really tender and everything. So we went grocery shopping and stuff. And so I had actually found a pregnancy test, and I was going to buy it. And as soon as we got to the counter, I picked it up out the basket, and I was like, ain't no point in me setting this on the thing. Like, I feel like I'm going to set my pregnancy test on the scanner, and I'm going to waste $20 on a test that's going to come back negative. Like, I really had faith that I was just going to come on my period late, or I just really wanted to have faith, I'm going to say, like that I was going to come on my period late. And so I had actually went and bought me a box of tampons at the same time that I had bought that pregnancy test. They were in the cart with the rest of our items and stuff. And so we checked out, we went home, and I did not purchase the pregnancy test. I set it back down. And so the next morning, we went, or I had to take my boyfriend to work. I had dropped him off at work, and I don't remember exactly what I had to do. Actually, I do remember that was the day that I was going to be starting cosmetology school. So I had to drop him off at work so I can take the truck so I can go to school. And I had told him when I dropped him off, like, babe, I think I'm just going to go back and buy the test. Like, I woke up today and I'm still, like, I wasn't spotting. I wasn't doing nothing. Like, there was no period. No signs of me even coming on my period. And so that was the actual 5th day. So I dropped him off at work, and I went straight to Walgreens, and I bought a box of tests. It was 3 tests in that box, and I waited a few hours because I was kind of nervous. And I think I took the test at around like 10 o'clock or something like that. And so when I took the first test, I literally peed on the stick, and before I could even finish wiping, literally the test was positive. And so that scared the crap out of me, because I'm like, there's no way in hell this test popped up positive that quick. Like, it said you have to wait like 3 to 5 minutes or something like that anyways for the results to pop up, and it didn't take me that long at all, like not even close. And so I just looked at the test. I remember just staring at the test and sitting on the toilet like, bro, are you serious? And me and my boyfriend lived together. We've been living together since, well, for a year now, a little bit over a year now. And I don't know why, like, we have our own car, we pay our own bills and everything, but I was so terrified to literally tell my mom, like, I didn't want to. By the way, I am 21. I turned 21 in March of this year. And I found out I was pregnant in June, so I literally just turned 21 a couple months before. So anyways, I was still so scared to tell my mom, but there was just, I don't know, like something in me that was just like, oh my gosh, like she's just gonna be so mad. And so the first thing I did was call my boyfriend, and I was still sitting on the toilet with this test. And I was like, babe, and he was like, what's wrong? And I couldn't even say nothing. I just put the stick in the camera. Before I called him, I had a full breakdown. Like, I started crying. Like, I didn't know what we was about to do. I don't know why I freaked out the way I did, but I did. And so I had tried to get myself together and like wipe my tears up and stuff. But when he said like what was wrong, I had started crying again. So instead of me talking, I just put the test up in the camera like, this is what it is. We about to be parents. Boom. And he just sat there. Like, I just remember him, like, he was just so shocked. And I was like, babe, it's positive. Even though he had already seen it, like, I don't know, it scared me because he didn't say anything. Like, he just stared at the camera, and I'm like, hello, can you speak? Can you say something? And he wasn't talking. And so, yeah. So that happened. My first instinct was, okay, I'm going to take the other test, and then I'm going to take the other test, and then we're going to call my mom, because I did not want to wait to tell my mom about me being pregnant. Like, I was quick and real on it, tick, 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 about letting her know about what was going on. And so I talked to him. I think we had got off the phone because he was at work. at the time. I took the second test. I sent him a picture of it. And then I was kind of like still just like in shock, like in disbelief, like this is really going on. I think I waited maybe like another hour or so to take the third test, and then I took it. And so after I took the third test, I called him back, and at this time it was about 2:00 in the afternoon. And so I had told him like, hey, go get my mom, we gonna tell her right now. And so he was kind of nervous because in his mind he was thinking like, okay, well, if you tell your mom, then she gonna make me tell my mom, and I'm not ready to tell my mom. But I wasn't caring about nothing he was talking about. I'm like, I don't care about none of that. Even if she do force you to tell your mom, like, I'm telling my mom now. I'm not waiting until tomorrow. I'm not waiting weeks or months from now. Like, I'm gonna tell her. And so, excuse me again. He kind of just gave in, and so he went and got my mom because they work together. At the hospital, he went and got her or whatever, and so we're on FaceTime, and we're like, Mom, I gotta talk. Like, we gotta talk to you. And she was like, what is it? And so I did the same thing that I did with Will. I didn't even say anything. I was scared, and I really didn't know how to tell her, so I just flipped the camera and had all 3 tests in the camera, and she was like, okay. And I was in my head, I'm kind of thinking like, okay, like, that's it. Like, these are pregnancy tests and they're positive. And she was just like, she's like, okay, I already knew that. And in my head, I'm thinking like, what you mean you already know? Like, I don't even live with you. How you know I was pregnant? But she said that she just had like a feeling. She had been having a feeling for a while that I was going to be next, because a couple months before I said that I was pregnant, we had actually just found out that my older cousin, his girlfriend, is pregnant, and my god sister is also pregnant. And so those were 2. They're actually due. My cousin and my god sister are actually due like 2 weeks apart. And so then I'm 2 months behind them. And so it was kind of just like, my mom said she just had a feeling. And so that is the story as far as like what happened exactly when we found out. She wasn't mad or anything. She said she was kind of disappointed. Of course, every parent would be, like, if you have young kids or young adults in our situation who don't actually have like careers. Like, we have a stable job, but it's not a career. It's not something that's about to be making us like really good money. And so I understood where she came from, but she wasn't mad at us at all. She said she really couldn't be, considering like we're not living with her, we're on our own, and we're pretty much doing everything. Like, me and him have been doing really good as far as us getting like our first place together and taking care of everything as we should be. And so she wasn't mad. And so it took her a little bit, like I think about a week, to get over it. And after that, she was like so excited, like, I'm gonna be a nana, how you feel about that, and all that other stuff. So yeah, that was that. I don't remember exactly how my boyfriend told his mom. I just remember him telling me that he had told her, and she was actually excited, and which was really shocking to us, because his mom is like, we just really didn't see that coming from his mom. We thought that there was going to be like real disappointment. And so that was a good thing that we had like the support from our parents as far as what we were going through and everything. And so that was that. After that, I pretty much had to, I went to school. I stopped going to school about 2 months in. I had a really hard first trimester. Like, as far as me being sick, not eating, and yeah, that was pretty much it. Like, as far as how sick I was and my eating habits, like, my first trimester was really hard for me. On top of the fact that a lot of the things that people gave me, you know, like a lot of the advice that people gave me didn't work. So people were telling me like, oh yeah, if you're nauseous, eat crackers, eat pretzels, or try drinking this or do this or do this, and everything wasn't helping. And I feel like it was worse because one of my symptoms really wasn't throwing up. I was just really, really nauseous. And so I feel like when you're nauseated and you can throw up, it makes you feel better because you throw up and then you can lay back down and it makes you feel a little bit better. Or you can throw up and then keep on moving about your day. But I didn't have that symptom really. And so all day, every day, I was just really, really nauseous. Another one of my symptoms was I was like extremely tired. I went from being one to go to bed anywhere from 11:30 to 12 o'clock. And I had started falling asleep all the time. Like, me and my boyfriend could be watching TV and he could look over and within 5 minutes, like, I'm knocked out, like completely gone. Like, I was going to bed as early as 6-7 o'clock in the afternoon, and pretty much being asleep for the rest of the night, and him waking me up late, like, hey babe, let's go get into bed, and I'm falling right back to sleep and not getting up until the next morning for work. Speaking of work, I actually missed a lot of work due to me being sick and how nauseous I was. I didn't go to work a lot. That had really took a toll on my body, as well as the weight that I had lost. And so I had started, when I first found out I was pregnant, I had weighed myself and I was 125. By I don't know exactly, I can't even say like an exact time. I gave it like, I think maybe within a month I was down to 110. And that was like really, really big because I was like, there's no way like I lost all of this weight. But it was real. Like, I wasn't eating anything. The only thing I could eat my first trimester was fruit. And that was sometimes like depending on what kind of fruit it was. And mashed potatoes was like really, really big for me. Like, that was the only thing that I could stomach. And because it was potatoes, my mom always told me like, putting that on your stomach, one, it'll help me gain weight. Two, it'll actually help fill me up because it's starch and that sticks. And so that was one thing. I'm trying to think without trying to make this video too long because I've already been talking for 17 minutes. And so yeah, that was that. I had immediately made my first appointment after finding out after finding out, I pretty much made my appointment right away. Had regular appointments and all that other stuff. Actually, because I don't know how I skipped this. The very first, the week that I found out I was pregnant, so June 25th, I found out I was pregnant. I was going to work, of course. I went to work June 30th, and I had a scare. I was at work, and I remember getting like really, really like dizzy and like out of breath almost. And so I sat down. And so I sat down for a minute and kind of tried to like get myself together. And so I remember standing up and looking at where I was sitting, and there was blood. And so the first thing that came to my mind is, okay, I'm pregnant. I'm not supposed to be bleeding. And my work uniform are black cargos, like thick black pants. Like, if you think about some Dickies or something like that. Actually, I don't even know if they make Dickies that thick. They were really dark. Like, they're black pants and they're thick, sort of. And so I wear panty liners every day. That's always been something that I do. Sorry, that's another TMI thing. But I wear panty liners. And so I was actually extremely scared because for me to have bled through a panty liner and you can see it when I had got up, it scared me. So the first thing I did, I ran to the bathroom to check and see, because I also didn't understand how I didn't feel it coming out. And so I had went to the bathroom and called my mom. I was crying, literally, like crying hysterically, like, Mom, like, I'm bleeding and it's a lot. I had sat down on the toilet. I had pulled my pants down, and I remember just seeing nothing but like red in my underwear. I had used the bathroom and there was a red gush, like just blood that came out. And when I literally like almost had a heart attack. Like I was so scared. And so I had told my mom, and she was like, okay, you know, just go to the ER. I'm about to come up there because I already work at a hospital. So she's like, I'm about to come up there. Just go to the ER. I'll meet you there. Let me know what's going on. If I miss anything. After I got off the phone with her, I called my boyfriend because he had the day off. And so I let him know what was going on and told him that my mom was coming up there. And considering I had been at work and he had the day off, I had actually driven the truck to work that day. And so he didn't have the car to go up there. So he called my mom for her to pick him up on his way. To pick him up on her way to the hospital. I got off the phone with him and I immediately ran all the way to the other side of the hospital because I work in the children's hospital. So I ran all the way to the other side of the hospital to the adult emergency, checked myself in, and pretty much had to wait. When I tell you those anywhere, I don't even think I was in the waiting room for more than 10 minutes, but I swear it seemed like I was in there for an hour. Like I was just really, really scared. Like my blood was rushing and everything. Like I had so much adrenaline pumping. And they finally checked me into a room. They asked me a bunch of questions. I let them know I just found out I was pregnant and that all of a sudden I'm just like bleeding. And so they checked me into the room, got me a gown and everything, and I had to lay in there and wait for my doctor. By the time the doctor came in, I think I had been in there for maybe 5 or so minutes. I had got really sick and started like throwing up. I don't know if it was like from me just being nauseous like on a regular thing that was just for me, or if it was because I was so scared that I had almost made myself sick, like with anxiety. And so I was throwing up, but I remember the doctor coming in and talking to me. He was maybe in there for about 5 minutes, and then my mom and my boyfriend showed up. And so they pretty much just said that they were going to do a vaginal ultrasound to make sure everything was okay. And I believe that was it. They were just going to, they drew my blood, and then they were going to do like the ultrasounds. And because I was so early, they couldn't do a regular ultrasound, so they had to do a vaginal ultrasound. They did that, pretty much told me in the end of that night before they discharged me that it was just like, you're too early. We can't tell if you're miscarrying already, but they drew my blood and everything and sent me home. So I got discharged at about 7. I did not go to work the next day. They had told me to kind of just like take it easy. And so the next day, I wasn't going to be at work. We got discharged at 7. I remember going home that night and falling asleep after eating. And I woke up. I had fell asleep on the couch. My boyfriend woke me up and told me to go and get in the bed. And so I remember getting up and going to the bathroom, and I just started feeling really weird while I was sitting on the toilet. And I had screamed to him because he was in the living room and stuff, like turning off all the lights. And I remember just screaming to him like, babe, like something's wrong, like bring me water. And by this time, I'm like sitting on the toilet and I'm like rocking. I was trying to get myself together and I only had to pee, but something was like seriously wrong. And so he brought me the water. And by the time, literally in those few seconds that it took him to bring me the water, my body went from like being like room temperature to me burning up. Like I was literally drenched in my own sweat and I didn't even have any clothes on. Like I was just drenched. And so I had started like feeling like I couldn't breathe. My vision was starting to get blurry, and I had just started telling him like, babe, like something not right. And I remember catching my breath one last time and just telling him like, I'm about to pass out, or I feel like I'm about to pass out, I think is what I said. And so I don't too much remember anything after that. I do remember blacking out. I know he called my mom, and the first thing my mom said was call the ambulance. And so he called the ambulance, and I think I fell to the floor. I don't know if I fell to the floor or if he put me on the floor. All I know is I woke up and the paramedics and stuff was coming into the house. And I remember them asking me questions. like I just seen people in my face, but I didn't see them for real, for real. Like it was just really weird. It really felt like a dream. I just know that they were saying a bunch of stuff, and I was seeing them, but I couldn't hear anything really. Like I don't know. And so they got me up, they rushed me to the hospital, right back to the hospital the same night. It was about 12 o'clock midnight. They put me on IV fluids, drew my blood again, pretty much for me to all find out that I had passed out due to dehydration. And that is like something that is really important when you're pregnant. Regardless of how much water you feel like you're drinking, it's almost never enough. It seems like you literally have to constantly stay drinking fluids. And so yeah, they rushed me to the hospital. Everything was fine. They drew my blood again. When I actually got home, I have a app on my phone and that I looked at the next day. And they updated with all of my health records and everything. And so, excuse me. I remember looking and seeing all of my data from the day before and the night before from me going to the hospital. And I remember the first thing I did was check my HCG records. I mean, my HCG levels. And I was relieved. From the first time I had went to the hospital that day at about 2:30, 3 o'clock when they drew my blood the first time, and me being rushed back to the hospital at 12 midnight, my HCG levels had actually risen, meaning that I was not, it pretty much made it clear that I wasn't having a miscarriage. And so I was really, really, really relieved. Like I remember bawling my eyes out in that hospital room when they told me like, yeah, you have to come back in 2 weeks for us to see if your pregnancy is continuing or if you go through the motion while you're at home. And I literally like could not wait 2 weeks to know if I was literally losing my baby. Like there was no way that was going to happen. But from me going to the hospital and having to go through that whole situation again, they drew my blood and I was able to actually see that I wasn't having a miscarriage. It was just a problem that I had endured through the pregnancy due to me being dehydrated. And so everything has pretty much been smooth from then up until now. They had told me that the bleeding was pretty much my last period. And so any female who has been pregnant probably have heard of this whole thing happening, but usually you find out you're pregnant because of your last period. Usually the last period comes and then it's like a weird period, and that is usually what it like tells you like, hey, something is wrong, because your period isn't normal as it would be any other month. And so I had found out I was pregnant at 5 weeks. So I was literally extremely early. And the bleeding that I had that made me go to the ER was literally my last period coming. And that would have been the tell sign of pretty much me taking a test and saying like, hey, I'm pregnant. Like something was up. And I actually bled my first 3 months. Well, pretty much my first trimester, I had bleeding. It wasn't really heavy bleeding continuously. It was spotting here and there and all of that, but I bled through my first trimester. Now everything's fine. I'm perfectly healthy. And yeah, and so the prenatals that they gave me were hard pills. They were pretty big and they were pink, and I could not take those because of my nausea. It was so bad, and there was no way that I was about to be swallowing that pill because it was making me sick, or I would throw it back up. And so I ended up taking gummies, in which these are the gummies that I have been taking. The 1-a-day vitamins, prenatals. These are the chewables. I still really don't like these. Like the taste of them is not... They're gross. Like, I still really don't like these things. But I have to take those. Those are the gummies that I've been taking in replace of the actual pills. Sorry, y'all. This is the group chat. This is my mom and... Yeah, this is my mom and my boyfriend and siblings group chat. So they're texting me. So anyways, yeah, that's that. I've had a pretty smooth pregnancy, I guess, like otherwise. Everybody tells me like the stuff that I'm going through is normal, which is the regular back pain. I've reached the point to where I'm very uncomfortable, like I don't get too much sleep throughout the night. I have a lot of back aches. Braxton Hicks have started, so I get those. The cramping, the lazy like symptoms and all of that, I've reached it. I'm 6.5 months and I'm already ready for this little girl to come. From if you watched not the video before this, but my previous video, I had a gender reveal in which we found out October 12th of 2019 that we are having a baby girl. This is my belly. I'm so little. I still get told for like how far I am. But this is my beautiful belly. And I have a very active daughter, y'all. This little girl moves nonstop. When I say like she isn't still really, it's not focused really. Okay, there it goes. So, yeah, she's like extremely active. Like when I say she's extremely active, I mean like she's extremely active. This little girl moves so much. It's crazy, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I feel like this is a really great experience, regardless of me becoming like a mom at the age of 21. I feel like I wouldn't trade this for anything. Hearing her heartbeat for the first time, I cried. Everything is just like, I don't know, it's amazing. The little things that have changed as far as like me being pregnant, I had a lot of breakouts on my face. Like all of these dark marks are pretty much from my pregnancy. I don't know if you guys can see them really. I don't have any makeup on, but I have like a lot of dark marks on my face that came from my face breaking out. My chest has broken out a lot too. I'm pretty sure you guys can see those. And I also have a little bit of breaking out on my back, like on the back of my shoulders here. What else changed? My hair texture. So my hair is just now getting back to like it's soft, like little flowy fluffiness. But before that, I had a lot of shedding and my hair had gotten really brittle at one point. And it was almost to the point to where I was like, I'm not combing my hair out because I was scared at how much my hair was coming out just from me combing it. Like, it was ridiculous. And so, yeah, that's that. I'm trying to think of what else, because this video is already 33 minutes long and I don't want to make it any longer than that. I feel like that's almost pretty much it. I'm going to have to do a part 2 to this pregnancy update. I'll probably do it, actually I could probably record it right after this and then post them back to back, or I can post it a day before. I mean, like post one tonight and then post another one tomorrow. Because that has been like, I guess like the first half of my pregnancy or whatever. But not too much more that I actually have to talk about. Really, that's what I'm gonna say as of right now. So I've had all of that happening. Everything is pretty much getting back to normal now. I can eat. I have a ton of cravings. I've craved hamburgers, coney dogs, popsicles, spicy foods, pretty much a bunch of like different random things. I've never had like any crazy cravings. Like the cravings I have are things that I either have already liked, which is burgers, or things that I haven't had in a while that I kind of got really, really stuck on. And so like chili cheese fries and coney dogs were one of them. McDonald's, I used to crave like McChickens with bacon and cheese on it. That was one. And I think that was pretty much it. But I'm going to end this video right here because it's already over 30 minutes long. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will be back with a part 2 because I feel like I actually do have a lot more to talk about. Because I have this box that I want to show you guys, as well as the different things that I am using during my pregnancy. And so, stay tuned for part 2 of this video. And yeah, bye.